I'd like to ask you, this experiment must be just the most fabulous culmination of 40 years of research here. Is that how you see it?
You betcha.
Well, the universe moves in very, very mysterious ways. Suzy, let me ask you, you've created the Awesomism certification process, ORCEP, and you've got 50 practitioners in 11 countries, as I said earlier, and more in training. What happens in that process? And is it just for people who want to be practitioners, or could anyone benefit from this?
Well, really anybody could benefit from it. People who have an interest in energetically sensitive children probably will get the most out of it. But it really is a threefold process. And the process, again, came directly from the collective consciousness of the children. That process is that we spend about 8 weeks really changing the perception of who these children are. You know, what do these children really want us to know? What's important to them? How do they actually function in the world at this time? And what else is possible? So we spend an awful lot of time about just, again, talking about what's important to them, shifting that perceptual reality. And then the second phase of that is an energetic phase where we are supporting the clearing of especially the lower chakras in the body, especially the mental body and the emotional body. Because the way we are within the human condition at this point, the mental body and the emotional body have been really cluttered with everything that we are not. For most of us, we've been taught to be less than who we really are versus all that we really are. So there's a piece of energy work that supports the clearing of those lower chakras, the mental body, the emotional body, and the physical body. And from that place, it's very natural that kind of higher aspects of who we are, they just emerge. They've been there all the time, but just like, I guess to use Bill's analogy, we're creating a space so that which is of higher consciousness can be available to us versus paying attention so much to the limitations.
May I interject here just for a moment?
Sure.
Because one of the serious problems of our educational system is that it teaches information, transfers information, but nothing much on experiential development of self.
Exactly.
And as a society, I don't think we're going to make an awful lot of progress until we learn to teach these two things side by side, the growth of information and experiential development of self. That's what's going to be needed as we move forward to explore our cosmos much more fully than we have.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I couldn't agree more, and that's one of the things that, you know, the children have always indicated. You know, we have to know ourselves. And the third phase of this process is the telepathic connection with the higher consciousness of these children. And most people get a little bit concerned. They go, oh, I might not be able to do that. But the interesting piece is that after phase 1 and phase 2, after you've had a different perceptual reality presented to you, and after you have begun to know yourself through your own personal experience, through your own mastership, the ability to connect with the higher consciousness of the kids is actually the easy part because you're already there. So, yeah, 50 practitioners in 11 different countries, and all of them really undertook this self-exploration. They wanted to know themselves, and in knowing themselves, they came into much closer connection with who these kids really are, and in their own right are all supporting them in amazing ways, really just supporting them in amazing ways.
Suzy, do you have any insights or information from the collective consciousness of the children since you started this experiment about some of the results? Any clues about what's next?
Well, it's interesting because every time that Bill and Jean and I get together, it's just so happy. I just want, it's like happy, happy, happy. So on the one hand, what they're sharing is kind of a repeated, I know Jean gets this kind of information as well, just a repeated enthusiasm for what's going on here, and also a clear intention to be here. You know, a lot of times people will say that these children don't want to be present, or they're manipulating, or they're, you know, whatever. Absolutely not the case from my vantage point. What I see is that they all have different soul purposes. They all have different soul trajectories. Timing is everything. If a child awakens at a particular moment or becomes present in a particular moment, it will completely be intertwined with what the parents or other people who are going to experience that awakening. It's all intertwined. And so there's a lot of enthusiasm for what's going on here, not just for them and the consciousness that they'll bring, but once that consciousness is here, it really will begin to permeate the collective human consciousness. And I truly believe that, like Bill said, we are in a new epoch, and these children are here to help us shift our consciousness. And we have to do a little bit of our job as well. We have to begin to know ourselves, be willing to step a little bit further out of our comfort zones and our boxes so that we can meet them where they would like to be met. And the exciting part is that when we meet them there, we're actually meeting ourselves as well. And so there's a huge potential for humanity in that.
So how can those who would like to participate in the next round of this experiment contact you, Suzy?
Yeah, if you will go to the website at SuzyMiller.com, at the bottom of that page in the left-hand column, there is a contact tab. If you will just hit that and let me know that you're interested, I am keeping a list of people who are interested in participating in the next process. Also, I send out a monthly newsletter and information about the Autism Intention Experiment, as well as the certification process and other things are listed there as well, so you might also want to sign up for that.
And I think you've got a new AWECP certification process, Level 1, starting very soon?
I do, yeah. April 1st, we have a new Level 1 certification beginning. We like to keep that certification process fairly intimate, and when we have larger groups of individuals who decide that they want to participate simultaneously, we typically will still make those calls fairly intimate, keep it down to 7 to 10 people in a process, but we've had several processes running simultaneously as well. So.
And I can attest, having been through it myself, that, wow, there's nothing like discovering what you're really capable of. Bill, I can imagine that lots of people will be very interested in finding out more about your unimprinted intention devices and your white papers and your books. So could you just give our listeners details of where they can find out more?
Well, if you just go to my website, which is www.tiller.org, then that's the website, and all of these things are displayed there. They can be purchased using PayPal, so it's there. And I think, let me say that there are these free white papers, and as I say, I'm working on number 29 now, which will be kind of a blockbuster. But 28 are there, and the 29th one won't. The earliest it will be put up will probably be in June, because I'm giving a keynote lecture in the Reston, Virginia area on the 31st of May to the group called AWECP. It's their 15th annual international conference. So, in essence, it's all there. If you have trouble, and bill@tiller.org reaches me. If people have serious questions, I try to write answers for them. But there's more than you ever wanted to know about this stuff on my website, in those free white papers, etc., and the books. The first book and the last book are the easiest ones to read. The last one was probably the easiest one to read. That's called Psychoenergetic Science a second Copernican scale revolution. I had that vetted by a bright high school student.
Now, I've just had somebody say that they've been on your site already and they can't find the intention devices.
They're there. You can contact the lab. So if you send something to me at bill@tiller.org, then I'll make sure that the guys in the lab get back to you and say how to get to it. So I know they're there.
Thank you. Thank you both very much. Thank you for having the courage to do this. You know, this just astonishes me because this is exactly what we need, and I cannot wait to read the book. I think it has all the hallmarks of a New York Times bestseller.
Well, Suzy can do that, absolutely.
We'll do it together, Bill. We'll do it together.
Yes, we will. Yes, okay. Yes, maybe you will help dilute mine to the place where people will understand it joyfully.
We'll do our best.
Suzy Miller, Dr. Bill Tiller, thank you so much for joining us today. Suzy, I'm just going to end with one thing. In a previous interview, you said, as we become the new humans, humanity is going through a process where we are continually being recalibrated to the highest aspect of who we really are. Throughout the world, many are now being called to rediscover and reconnect with the potential and possibilities that have been hidden within them for so long. The time has come for a new the time has come for a new community of humans who are not afraid to be and continue to become the fullest expression of themselves. And as a famous book once said, let the children lead the way. I think they're doing that admirably.
Indeed.
And to thine own self be true is the greatest dictum.
Yes.